Greetings, this is Amy Wentley with Chai Knuckles Knitting, and this is episode 2020-25, Thrums, Preparing and Knitting. So I'm teaching an online class starting day after tomorrow about thrummed slippers. And this is a pattern by Isolde Teague, and this is what the slipper looks like. Those are the thrums inside. This is the slipper. These are thrums. So thrums are pieces of fiber that are knit into a pattern to insulate the inside. These pieces of fiber are going to felt very quickly and will ensure an extra layer of insulation in this lovely slipper when it's worn. So this video is going to show you how to prepare the fiber thrums to knit into your slippers, and I will show you how to knit them in also. So this here is a skein of Malabrigo Noob, and this is the fiber that we're going to use for the thrums. And the way that you prepare it is you go ahead, it usually comes in a chain like this. So you'll find the end and you'll spread apart the edges of the ends. Make it a little bit wispy. Sometimes these things get compacted in shipping, so you really want to kind of loosen them up a little bit. And then what you're going to do is, a little hard to explain, but firmly but gently pull the fibers away from the rest of the hank. And the fibers are aligned parallel, so it makes it, fairly easy to pull them out. But you'll just pinch, and with a wide surface area of your thumb and finger, pinch and pull out until you get a piece of fiber. And it's going to be probably about this long. And this ends up being, just for your reference, around 4 inches long. Now this might vary depending on what kind of fiber you got, because some sheep have, this is called the staple length. So this is about a 3 to 4 inch staple length. Your fiber might have a shorter staple length, but you should have something around 3 to 4 inches. So you pull this off. And then the second step that you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're just going to twist it and twirl it just a little bit, just to consolidate it so that it separates it from other thrums that you're going to be doing. And we're just going to put that to the side and see how it unfurls. It doesn't really keep that twisted shape. It unfurls a bit, and we'll just set that aside. And what I did when I was doing this slipper was I would do batches of about 30 of these at once. And that just means you can knit for a little while before you have to stop and do it again. I think it's overwhelming to think about doing them all before you start. But if you do too few, then you're having to stop too often to do it. So I think 30 is kind of a good ballpark. And I'll show you how to do that again. I'll go ahead and spread the fiber a little bit. This is an end again. And I'm going to pull it out. Pull it away from the rest, and you can do it in like little motions like that. It doesn't have to be just one big grab. And then you'll have something that's about 4 inches long. Go ahead and twist it again, and you'll see that's going to be about the thickness of your thrum on the outside of the slipper. So twist it up like that just to get it consolidated and put it in your pile. I have a little pile of 2 now. Oops, lost a needle. And just go ahead and build a pile like that. I'm going to do a couple more. One thing you want to be aware of, especially with one that's hand dyed like the Noob here, is this has a bunch of different colors in it. And the color, you're going to be twisting this and folding it in half to knit it in. And this is the color that's going to show on the outside of your slipper. So you can be a little bit judgmental about which pieces of fiber you're going to pull out. Like, let's say I like this blue color here. So I can separate this blue color a little bit. You only have so much control over it, and pull it out. And then this one's mostly blue, and I can twist it. But see, it does have other colors in it, so you're going to run into that with these multicolored fibers. So there's 3. I'm going to do a few more because I want to show you how to knit these in. And you can get, you know, a little bit of speed going on this. It's a nice thing to do when you're sitting in front of the TV, or, you know, maybe you got tired of knitting the 5th hat you're working on this holiday season and you want a break. Just be pulling off these pieces. And I think this ought to, a couple more ought to do it for demonstration purposes today. And actually what I did when I was working on the slipper is I had a bowl, a thrum bowl. I just kept my thrums in a bowl next to me, and that kept, you know, the cat running away with it or them floating across the room or whatever. So there's my little pile of thrums. I'm going to put my fiber aside now, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how I knit these in. And I will show you both working continentally and also American knitting, Eastern or English knitting. So picking and throwing, I'll show you both ways. Okay, so here is my needle that fell on the floor earlier and my pile of thrums. So I'm just going to start. Our pattern essentially goes thrum, skip 3 stitches, thrum, skip 3 stitches, thrum, well, knit 3 stitches, thrum, knit 3 stitches, like that. So I'm going to start with 1 knit stitch, and I'm going to start English. So it's going to be knit, and then I'm going to have the next stitch be a thrummed stitch. So what I want to do is I want to start by putting my needle through the stitch as if to knit, and wrapping as if to knit, and I'm going to go ahead and get my thrum. So I have to hold this yarn with my finger back here just to keep it kind of tight. It's over the top of the needle, getting ready to be pulled through, and I'm just keeping it, holding it here with my finger. And I'm going to pick up a thrum, and I'm going to, I kind of pinch it in my left hand and I twist it in my right hand like this. And I'm going to fold it in half. So I have it like this. This is the middle. These are the 2 edges that are going to be fluff inside, and I'm just going to slip it over my needle. So now I have my working yarn and my thrum on this needle, and I am going to pull them both through. Okay, and what you have here is a stitch that you made that is a thrum and a stitch. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to knit 3 more stitches, and this is all you need to do. It's that simple. And I'll go ahead and show you the English method one more time. So I insert my needle as if to knit. I wrap my yarn like I'm going to knit, but then I pinch it and hold it back here with my left hand. I grab a thrum. I grab it with one of my fingers on my left hand, and I twist. Oops. Then I'm going to fold it in half. I have it folded in half here. Slip it over the top of my needle along with my working yarn, and I'm going to pull them both through to make a knit stitch. It's got my working yarn and a thrum, and see, here's the thrums on the back, just fluffing up like that. Okay, now I'm going to do it continental. So bear with me, because after the continental I'm going to go back and show you how to tighten things up on the purl row on the back. So For continental, I'm going to go ahead and knit 3. Then I insert my needle as if to knit, and I pick that yarn and have it sit on my right hand needle, getting ready to be knit. I pick up a thrum and I pinch it with my left hand and I twist. And then I fold it in half and I slip it over my right hand needle along with my working yarn and pull them through. So I have a knit stitch and a thrum, both in the same place. And then I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to just knit 2 here because I don't really want to do it on the edge, and I didn't actually do an even number of stitches on there. So I knit 2. The next thing I'm going to do is insert my needle as if to knit and then pick that stitch so it's wrapped over the top of the needle. I'm going to grab the thrum with my left fingers and twist with my right, bend it in half. I now can slip that over my needle, and along with the working yarn I pull it through, and I have a knit stitch and a thrum right there in the same stitch. So when you go to turn it over and you're going to do the back, you're going to purl together the thrum and the stitch. Treat them like one stitch. So this first stitch here was just a purl stitch. That's fine. The next one, this is a thrum and a stitch. So I'm going to actually purl both of those and treat them like one stitch. And then purl 1, 2, 2, 3, and then I have a thrum and my stitch here. I'm going to purl those just like they're one stitch together, and then 1, 2, and I'm going to switch to continental for those of you who want to see that, 3, and then the next stitch and the thrum I treat as one together, and then 1, 2, 3, and I treat the next stitch and the thrum as one and work those together, and then the last stitch. So then at this point what I do is I look at the front side and see how they look, and they look fine. They're a little irregular, no big deal. But what I'm going to do is just in the back, I'm going to just tug them a little bit to seat those stitches down. And then I'll turn it to the front again and see how they look. And if I feel like the stitches are a little uneven or something, I can take my other needle and I can just play with them a little bit and poke them out and pull them out just to make them look a little prettier. But I think they're lovely as is. So that is how you prepare thrums and knit thrums. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.